guys, welcome back to my channel and another video here. Today we're on to part 3 of my color series. So naturally that means we are, if you can't tell from my eyes, on to yellow. I will try to link my playlist down below or in the cards or wherever so that you guys can watch the other ones. I have my red and pinks combined video, and then I recently posted my oranges, so now we're on to yellow, and then next time we're gonna do green, which I'm kind of excited for since I've been obsessed with green lately. But for now, let's stick to yellows. So at my previous video, when I did oranges, I told you guys I really didn't have a lot of oranges, unfortunately, despite me liking the color. It's just not a color that I gravitate towards purchasing a lot. Well, with yellow, I have even fewer. I actually have 46 yellows, which I know that sounds insane to be like, oh, I don't have very many yellow nail polishes. I only have 46. Like, you kind of sound like a real a-hole when you say it like that. But it's true. Comparatively, I don't have that many yellows. Like, I mean, look at the swatch stick here. I pulled this down to kind of refresh my memory and try to pick out what are my top 10, because that's what I've been doing, top 10 yellows, you know, and I had a few like from the forefront of my mind that I was like, I have to include these, but I'm like, well, what are some of the other yellows that I really love or am really drawn to in my collection? And I pulled this guy down and I was like, oh great, like 14 of these are like all the same tone of yellow. Good job, Hillary. So whereas before with the oranges having fewer made it kind of easy to narrow it down, with the yellows it made it really tough to narrow down my top 10 yellows just because like I said, like 14 of them are the exact same color. The funny thing too is like I love the color yellow. A few years ago I started to realize surrounding myself with a lot of like dark and dreary stuff wasn't doing so well for my mental health, and so I started buying things that were yellow just to like, I don't know, trick my brain into this like happy spark. And it probably didn't work. I probably just tricked myself into having a better outlook, but just having that yellow stuff around just really made me feel like happier. I was like, oh, that's bright, that's fun, that's cute. And so I do really enjoy yellow. It's just, I feel like with a lot of nail polish makers, there's not a huge variety. Now that could just be confirmation bias, that could be me not like noticing, but I feel like most of the yellows that I see are just plain creams. And you know, any kind of yellow glitters or hollows or anything that's marketed in those finishes as yellow, to me personally it looks gold. So those end up in my gold category. So I really like yellows with like weirder finishes or just something a little bit more unusual than cream, because I've got, you know, 14 cream yellows that all look the same, so I know what my favorite tone of yellow is at this point. I just need that in like 90 different finishes now. So as per usual, let's just go through these one by one, and I will over-explain to you why I like this color, and I will show you it on the swatch stick as well. So the first one that popped into my head instantly, I was like, I gotta have Essie's Aim to Misbehave, because this is the first Essie yellow I ever bought, and this is their 1000th polish, which I thought was kind of funny for them to do a yellow for their 1000th when Essie is like the last nail polish brand to ever be known for yellows, and that's what makes their yellows so much more special, because they're kind of like few and far between. It's like a rare kind of event, you know? And so it's kind of fun to get these. I remember in a video that JustFace90 posted that she mentioned she collects Essie yellows and has gone so far as to like order ones that were exclusive to Europe. She has a friend who lives in England, I believe, who also will like get them and send them to her if she can. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that like just this subset color from a brand is something that somebody would collect. And so I had to get my hands on this. It even has like a fun little gold like foil in the cap, and it has like 1000 all over it, and then it looks like maybe it's supposed to be confetti. Not entirely sure, but this is just kind of like a shimmery yellow, and this one, it's definitely not a like 2-coat full coverage kind of a thing. You're gonna need probably 3, and it's gonna be better on short nails if you don't want that visible nail line, or putting some like white undies underneath, or maybe even just putting a yellow underneath of it. That would make more sense. But yeah, this one was just one of those that I was like, I gotta have this one in my collection. I'm glad I bought it. It's like a little piece of nail polish history over here. So I got that one. I love this one. You guys, I got this tea, and it literally smells like fish food. And kind of tastes like what I imagine fish food would taste like. So we are not repurchasing that one. Okay, number 2 is one that I can guarantee you is not going to appear on camera correctly. This is Studio M's highlight of my day. Yeah, it looks so dull on the camera. This one is like eye-searingly yellow. It looks like, have you ever, here's another one of my oddly specific scenarios, but have you ever cut open a yellow highlighter and like squeezed the juice out of it? Or not juice, would you call it ink? The highlighter juice. Have you ever squeezed that out of a highlighter? That's what this looks like. I'm sorry if you had a normal childhood. I did not. But this one, it's like, it is so bright it kind of hurts to look at. It's one of those yellows that is so neon that it almost looks green. And Studio M, obviously, if you're not from the Midwest, like I've said before, this is a Meijer brand nail polish, which is a pretty much exclusively Michigan and like maybe 2 in Northern Ohio grocery store. And so probably you won't be able to get this. However, 4 neon yellows on my swatch wheel. As you can see, this one here is highlight of my day. It is the brightest, but the 2 next to it right here are, while they're not as bright and they don't have as much of that like boom, I'm about to make you go blind from how bright I am, I think that they're comparable and they're a little bit easier to get your hands on if you're not from Michigan. And they are different dimensions dope, which I'm not sure if that's even still on the different dimensions website, but if not, maybe a D-stash. And then Clean Color is, I think it's like an Amazon nail polish brand, and that one is called Funky Yellow. So those are kind of similar in tone. They're not quite up there as how neon that one is, but yeah, if you do live in Michigan or near a Meijer, check this one out. This one is really cool. Next is the pretty much only yellow holo I have in my collection that does not come off as gold to me, and that is Holo Taco's Lemon Sucker. This one, when I paint any other like yellow holo that claims it's yellow, I just feel like they're either like a soft gold or just a gold and then somebody called it yellow. Even with her lemon spritzer in the pastel rainbow collection, to me that one just leans a little bit more gold, I guess. Maybe I'm like not seeing it right, but either way, I do like this. I mean, a yellow for the summer sun like is perfect, and then you throw in some holo and it just makes it like so reflective and beautiful. So I think that this is a really cool polish. But if you guys know of any other yellow holos that don't look gold and do like scream I'm yellow, nobody would be confused, especially not me, let me know down in the comments below, because I need more holo in my life. The next one on my list is another one that immediately, as soon as I saw the words favorite yellows, I was like, this is the one. This is like one of my tops. And this is Picture Polish Pooh, like Winnie the Pooh. And I know like the bottles from Picture Polish are a little bit divisive. You know, some people love them, some people hate them. Usually I hate when brands change bottles frequently, but with Picture Polish, I just really like that they change like the font and like the little saying on each Polish's bottle to kind of match what's in it. So like this one says one for all the honey bears, and it's got like Pooh on there, and I think that's probably pretty close to the Winnie the Pooh font. And this is like it's described as a honey mustard holographic, and so it has these like hollow flecks running through it. For Picture Polish, this is my favorite finish for them. It's like a flecked holographic. It's not like linear or anything. It's not jam-packed. It's just a light, beautiful like accent running through the polish, and it just looks really pretty. It's one that it's not so obnoxious that somebody would be like, whoa, you got a lot going on in your nails, but it's subtle but visible, you know? It's not like so subtle that no one's gonna notice, at least not in my opinion. And I do love like a mustardy yellow, and I do love Winnie the Pooh. Did you guys see that movie Christopher Robin? My boyfriend took me, and I literally, from like the opening credits, just started crying. And I like cried through the whole movie because I was just like so nostalgic for it, and like the Pooh Bear doll was so cute that I got overwhelmed. I could not handle it. I'm actually like tearing up a little bit right now just thinking about how fuzzy he is. But yeah, all that to say, I love this color, and it is still available on the Picture Polish website. I do really like this brand. It's an Australian brand, but it does ship to the US. Okay, next are actually two Enchanted Polishes. I'm really sorry to put these on here, but they are in my top 10. These are a couple that I have been pining after for quite a while, and so when they announced they were closing down, I threw them both in my cart. At first, I texted my friend and I was like, which one should I get? Because they do honestly look a little bit similar. One is just like the bold version of the color, and the other is like the italic version of the color, if you get what I mean, I think. But I texted her and I was like, which one should I get? And I can't even remember which one. She was like, I think you've been wanting this one more. And then I was like, I'm buying them both. Just shut up. I'm buying them both. I'm justifying it that I will never be able to buy these again, so I'm buying them both. And so I bought them both. So the first one is Sci-Fi by Enchanted. And this one is kind of like a yellow jelly, and it has like little circle black glitters, and then like a really tiny like holographic smattering running through it. And like the black glitters, they go on really thick, really heavy, like I said, like very bold polish. The jelly, the yellow jelly, is like a murkier, like mustardier yellow. It's just like a kind of a creepy, spooky. It reminds me of like a mushroom almost. Like, I don't know, it's just like the mycelium. Sometimes you see it in this like kind of creepy, gross, yellowy color. And so I just thought this one was really cool. Plus I like the name Sci-Fi, you know. I think this came out in, I think they did like a Star Wars trio, or maybe they did 2 Star Wars trios. But yeah, I think this was one of those, and I'm really glad I got my hands on it. Just a really bold, kind of like boom, like this is yellow, this is fun kind of a color. And then the other one, which I said is like the italic of this, is Magic School Bus. And I'm sure we can all figure out the inspiration for that. But this is a more like pastel kind of a yellow. And I don't think this one is so much of a jelly. I think it's like a cream, but it's just very, maybe it is a jelly. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I'm going to call it a crelly. And it's like a pastel yellow. And then you just have these iridescent flakes running through it that pull kind of like green and red and blue. And so, yeah, like they kind of look similar, but at the same time, they're very different. And I could write you an entire essay on why they are different, but I'm going to save you from that torture. But just respect that they're different, okay? And I needed both of them. I feel like as these videos like go on, my hair just gets more and more like insane, and I have to like rein it in, and I refuse to get a haircut, and yet it drives me crazy, so I don't know what I'm doing. So like I said at the beginning, I have like 14 yellows that are all kind of in the same tone, and it's this like, so like here's like the main chunk of yellow creams that I have, and as you can see, like through here, like a lot of them are very similar. There's like maybe a couple like drops of brown difference between the two, but yeah, these are mostly the same. So obviously I like this color, so I had to pick one of them in order to fulfill that, because like obviously I like the color. So I ended up going with China Glaze Beak on Fleek. I have worn this one a couple times. I wore this when my nails were like super long, and I will pop up a picture here, but I felt like it made my nails look like bananas in a way. And this one dries down matte. Now, I know it's not really necessary to buy specific colors in a matte finish because matte top coat exists. I don't know. I really liked it because sometimes I don't think to put on a matte top coat. I like the way matte nails look. I just always forget that I have that option. So sometimes when a polish dries down matte, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a thing. Wonderful. And so I really liked it with this color. And this is part of the Sesame Street You Do Hue collection, which is like another bonus for me because I really love the Sesame Street like little caps and like the branding, all the names and stuff. I thought these were cute collections. So yeah, this one is another of my favorite yellows in my collection. Although, like I said, again, there's like 14 of this yellow, so it's more really just like the spirit of this yellow is what I like. All right, so the next one, I have to convince you and myself that this is yellow because it's on my yellow swatch wheel. I think that it looks yellow when it's sitting with all the other yellows. But this is Sinful Colors Taco Tuesday. Now, the first thing I want to say that I love about this is that it says avoid mouth contact. Because these are scented, you know, this one smells like a taco, more like cilantro when it dries down. But it's like the idea that I'm like, oh, that smells delicious, I'm gonna do a shot of nail polish. Disgusting. Actually though, we did know a kid who drank some nail polish when we were in elementary school and he had to get his stomach pumped. So, but he wouldn't have read this warning. So who's this warning for? So this one is just really fun because like, it's very sheer. I know it looks kind of orangey in the bottle, but when it shears out, I swear it's got like a dusty yellow. Just pretend with me, okay? And it has these like shreds of green for the lettuce. It's got these like red and pink hexagon glitters that I'm assuming are like tomatoes. And then we have these like orangey bar glitters, really like skinny bar glitters, kind of the same that are in the China Glaze Celebrity, but only these are, you know, orange for like shredded cheese. And I swear, I'm going to show you this next to a couple of my other swatch sticks so that you can be convinced with me. So I reorganized my swatch sticks by like finish now. So like these are more of like my specialty finish ones, and wow, I'm not really convincing anyone, am I? I swear it's got like it's a dusty light pale. It's a very pale yellow, okay? So that's why that one's being included in there, because I'm just really self-conscious that everyone's gonna call me and say like this is not yellow, but I think it's yellow, so it's in my top 10 yellows. And then of course we have an Orly. This is from their spring collection. This is, I believe it was called the Day Trippin' collection. This is Here Comes the Sun. Now, not to sound like a narcissist or anything, but I think that this tone of yellow, this like dusty vintage yellow, I think it looks really good on me, especially like in contrast with my hair. I think it looks really nice, which is why I'm really drawn to these like mustardy kind of a yellow. I think just any yellow that has like just like a hint of brown in it, I'm really into to like wear on my body, because I just think it looks really nice with, like I said, my hair and my eyes are both brown, so I think that it just all kind of ties in together. I don't know. I'm not like a color theorist. I don't know anything about color. I even like, I put on yellow eyeshadow for this, and then I was like, oh, brown lipstick will look great with this. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, I think I look pretty good. And then like 20 minutes later, I went and I was looking in the mirror and I was like, Hillary, you look awful. So I don't know. I don't know what colors go with what colors. I just like colors. And finally, number 10 is Zoya bee. Now, if you've watched like any of my videos, you know I'm obsessed with bees. So really that's like the reason I bought this polish, is because of the name. And I usually don't love a pastel yellow solely because it reminds me of baby decor. Like, you know how people always use either like a really soft pink or a really soft blue, or when you want to be like gender neutral about it, which it's just like, why is yellow the gender neutral color? They choose yellow. And it's always like this pastel-y soft yellow. And so it's hard for me to separate that in my head, because that's just what it's always been associated with. But this one, I don't know, it's almost like a little bit lighter than that. Like, or I don't even know if it's lighter. It's just, it doesn't look the same as the yellows that I envision in a baby's room. So, of course, you know, the name is pulling for it. I do like the color. I think that it kind of reminds me of the color of a honeycomb as well. So I think that that really suits the name. And this is really one that, even though I don't tend to specifically like say like this color is for a certain season, I'm not picky about that. This is one that I really only can see myself wearing in early spring, just because I feel like pastels of this nature, this like really whitewashed out kind of a color, I just feel like they just don't suit other seasons well, and they just kind of look out of place. And so yeah, that one, it really only gets love in like the springtime, but I still do think it's a very pretty color. And I think that this would look better on someone who has maybe a darker complexion than mine, just because, like I said, this one is very like whitewashed out, and against my skin tone, it just kind of looks blah, I guess. But if you had like a little bit darker skin tone than me, or a tan or anything like that, I think that this would look really good on you. Not that I ever cared about that. I will wear anything, even if it's hideous on me, but just something to like throw out there, that if you have like a similar skin tone to me and you care about that sort of a thing, maybe steer clear of this one. So yeah, those are my yellows, and as you can see, I have pretty big gaps in my collection. As far as the cream side goes, I'm pretty happy with what I have. I have the types of yellow that I'm going to wear as far as creams go. But in like specialty finishes and stuff like that, that's really where I'm lacking and where I'd like to build up a little bit more. So if you have any suggestions for like, you know, yellow flakies, glitters, whatever, like holos especially, and they lean more yellow than gold, let me know. And if you know of any cool yellow toppers specifically, I would love to know, because I don't have any yellow toppers at all. I have toppers of every other color but yellow. So if you know any like cool yellow toppers, I would love to see some of those, because I can already see some of those looking really cool over black and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it from me. Let me know your top yellows down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.